Welcome to The Morning Brew, Season 1,
Oof.
Episode 81, a Yeg Music production. I'm your
Heck
host,
yeah.
Marissa Kay.
I'm the host, Millie Rouge, and I made a very watered down coffee this morning.
Ooh, delicious.
And it does
I
not
for
taste good.
once, I didn't use my little tab pod machine. I actually made a full pot of coffee this morning, and surprisingly, I'm feeling really good this morning. And maybe that'll change and I'll fall off my chair again. It's fine. I promise I'll stop bringing it up. It's I don't know if anyone's ever done
Oh,
that. Like
that's
if you can
funny.
relate to this feeling where you've done something really stupid and then you just think about it forever and you just can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
That is my entire life. And the
Few
fact that that
times.
happened on the internet, I'm thinking about it forever. Um so yeah,
Oh, I know.
anyway.
I feel that. Don't worry. I've had that.
Yeah.
There's this actually specific memory. I remember in grade 6, I think, or grade 5, and we were playing
Mhm.
like baseball slash softball kind of thing. I don't remember what it was, but
Mhm.
and I remember like the guy I liked in grade 6 was like standing on the first base or whatever, and I remember I was like, I finally had hit a ball, and so they're like, run, run. So I ran all the way to first base, and I completely like biffed into him and like knocked him over, and I was like, I will never recover from this. And I still remember it so clearly. Some things you just can't let go.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that's
there's so
embarrassing.
many times where that's happened and you're just like
Yeah.
I remember, have you ever gotten hit in the face with one of those soccer balls that was like super peeled
Oof.
off and it was like
Those
it was
hurt.
always after it rained and it hit you like right in the face?
Yeah.
Has that ever happened to you?
Well, I've been hit by a soccer ball, but not that specific type of wet soccer old
Oh,
ball.
it's always the one that's like super peeled off and it like
Mm.
cuts you as it hits you and it's
Ouch.
like just talking about it I can feel
Just
it.
having a regular soccer ball hit your face is not fun as is.
Yeah, that's very true. But
Oh,
anyway,
yes.
yeah, welcome everybody to the show. It is Thursday morning,
Mm-hmm.
July 30th. We are almost to August. Summer
Ooh.
is half
Oh
over.
my
Can you believe
gosh,
it?
that's disgusting. Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. But soon it'll be Christmas. Da, da, da,
Oh
da.
my God.
That's what I have to
Okay.
look forward to.
Oh my God. Okay. I've been scrolling through TikTok and sometimes
The
Christmas TikTok
Christmas
will come up
TikTok.
and it just like
It's
it fills me with so
amazing.
much joy.
I
And
know.
I'm like, okay, it's 6 months from now and everything is better
Yep.
and the world is at peace. Nothing bad is ever going to happen again when I scroll through Christmas
But that
TikTok.
ain't the truth, honey.
Oh, I
Well,
know it's not the truth, but I like to dream.
I'm just concerned because I really feel like it's going to be weird, you know? Like I keep
Oh
look,
yeah.
I actually have seen the same TikToks and I'm like, for a minute, I'm like, but then the back of my head's like anxiety. Whoosh, and then I start thinking about like, well, what if there is no like normal Christmas? And like, what if, like, I mean, I'm sure families will still get together and blah, blah,
Yes.
blah, even though like, I still think it'll happen, even if there are like regulations, because it's just like that's the one
Yes.
holiday you can't mess with. You
But think
absolutely
about it
can't.
this way. Think about the good thing about it though. If COVID continues during Christmas time,
More time off
people will wear their masks because it's cold outside
to stay warm.
to stay warm. Or
It's
they'll put a
actually
scarf on
true.
at least.
It's
Yeah.
actually true because the other day
Yeah.
when it was one of those rainy days, I don't remember what day it was, but I was wearing a mask and I was like, this made me really warm and like toasty.
Yeah,
And I
right?
loved it. I was like, this is great. But
Exactly.
I mean, on plus 30 days, it's tough. It's definitely a tough struggle. But there's people like that live in California or Mexico that deal with that every day. So we don't have it that bad.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, hello to everybody who's on Twitch and Reddit, and we are
Mm-hmm.
actually on Facebook right now too, which is pretty cool.
Woohoo!
So
Boomer
hello everybody
book.
on Facebook. Woo, boomer, boomer. I remember when Facebook was a thing
It
that
was
like
so cool. It was
I
so
remember
cool.
when Facebook was a thing that I had to be I had to basically get it in secret before my parents found out and then I got in
Yes.
trouble for having a Facebook and then I remember like helping my parents set up their Facebook accounts. It was so funny. Like
Oh, the
Facebook
tables
was
have
such a different site.
turned.
Facebook was such a different site back
Yeah.
in 2000 whatever. It was
Yeah.
so different than
It's
it
so
is
true.
now.
Well, and I
Um
think what's
anyway.
interesting is that, yeah, like my friend in, I think it was 2006 or 7.
Mhm.
Yeah, that seems right. She was like, you should get it. It's so much fun. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then now, like, she doesn't even use Facebook. And I'm like, well, and now I still have it because when you run a music company, you kind of need to be able to communicate with people on many different platforms. So,
Mm-hmm.
and make Facebook events and stuff. So I can never really get rid of it, which sucks because I think I
Mm-hmm.
really would want to if I could, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So
So
shall
yeah, we're
we
gonna get
jump
into
into it?
yeah, let's get into our news topics today. So we have a
Okay.
couple news topics, some of them very, very sad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so our first one here that we're gonna jump into, I gotta pull it up here,
Mm-hmm.
is
Let's chat about it.
Alanis
Alanis
Morissette.
Morissette.
So let me pull up my little thing here. Alanis Morissette says new album, Such Pretty Forks in the Road, is one giant haunting moment. Spooky.
Spooky.
So the Grammy winning singer and mother of three children, including one born just last year, left behind the nation's entertainment hub in favor of Northern California, saying she felt disenchanted. This is from USA Today Entertainment, by the way.
Mm.
So being a woman in her mid 40s in LA, it's a city that really celebrates women ages 17 to 29. Oof. Yep. Morissette, 46, told USA Today. After that, there's some really reductive views.
Mm.
Um, so basically, she said that she's never been shy about her feelings in her music. The decision to relocate influenced some of the tracks on her latest album, Some Pretty Forks in the Road. It drops on Friday, which is tomorrow. So I'm very excited to
Mm.
check out this album.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Um, so some of them were recorded in LA,
Okay.
while others came after the move. Just reading through a little bit here. The recording was a giant haunting moment. Every single song haunts me in some way. So take Reckoning, a single that made its debut earlier this month, for instance. Hey, hey, little wonder, you walked the fields with all the fences down. You never knew the scent of a predator. You didn't know the house was on fire. And so you worked as you should while they preyed on all you ached for. And they pounced as they would while the guards were away. So it arrives 3 months later after its originally scheduled May 1st debut, and Morissette, no doubt, pushing the release was the right call. Um, so yeah, it's basically I haven't listened to any of the songs yet, but I mean now that I've kind of heard a little bit about it, I'm definitely gonna check it
Yeah.
out. She said it's kind of like a direct snapshot of kind of where she is right now in the world
Mm-hmm.
and about kind of taking basically picking up and moving away. Um,
That's crazy.
and I'm just looking a little bit more here. Do. Being a mom, it is a really gorgeous and daunting and terrifying and and sacred role, not scared role, sacred
I
role.
was
I
like,
read that wrong.
oh, is it?
She said, I look at all three of them and say, wow, I'm responsible for them.
Mm,
Yeah. I
that
don't
is true.
understand how some people can take care of children. I'm like, I can barely take care of myself. Parents, I have a huge respect for.
It's true.
Um,
It's very true.
Yeah, so she said so many parents are being really hard on themselves right now because they can't nail homeschooling. Everything
Right.
we're feeling right now is totally normal. Just know humanness is gorgeous, is what
Aw.
she said. So, yeah,
Everyone's trying their best.
and what a power move to pick up, leave and have an album released also raising three children. Like
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
badass.
Yeah. That is
Mhm.
pretty insane for sure. So, yeah, that's our first kind of topic of today. Let's move
Mhm.
on to the, just a sec here, the GLAAD
To
Awards.
the
So,
GLAAD Awards.
I remember hearing about the GLAAD Awards a while ago, and I just can't remember off the top of my head what it's about. But
Mhm.
this is from CNN.com. So the LGBTQ Media Advocacy organ organs organization unveiled more of its lineup on Wednesday, one day ahead of its first ever virtual ceremony. So just like many other award shows and ceremonies, they'll be doing virtual through the pandemic. So apparently, it appears to be very impressive. This year's hosts are comedians Fortune Feimester and Gina Yashir, along with special guest Dolly Parton,
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade, Gabrielle Union, and Olivia Wilde. Performers include people like Ben Platt, Chloe X Halle. You can expect to see Jennifer Garner, Lily Singh, Demi Lovato, Charlie XCX, Gigi Gorgeous, Getty, and Cara Delevingne. So very
Oh.
wide range of people. The two ceremonies obviously were initially planned to be in New York in March and the other in Los Angeles in April. So the event will stream on GLAAD social media channels, which is cool, as well as air on Logo August 3rd. So I actually don't know what GLAAD. Okay, because there's a Taylor Swift song where she says, "You could be glad," and she spells it like GLAAD. So
Oh,
I
I
was
didn't even
like,
make that connection.
yeah.
Huh.
So it's a bestow to recognize and honor various branches of the media for their outstanding representations of the LGBTQ community. Okay, okay. That makes more sense. That's kind of
Oh,
what I thought
that's
it
really
was. But
cool.
yeah, I didn't know there was an
Interesting.
actual like award show for that. So that's really interesting to see. And I'm glad that they're
That's an award show
continuing.
I would watch. That's
Totally.
something that I would actually like, I wouldn't mind celebrating. I think that'd
Oh,
be pretty cool. Um,
absolutely.
yeah, and
Super cool.
yeah, and it's really cool that we have these kinds of
Hey.
platforms to
Thank you,
have
Hannah
people.
Skater, for the follow. Sorry.
Ooh, thank you.
Yeah.
Um, and Hannah Skater said, "Random question: Do you think
Oh, I didn't
wedgie
see it.
pranks happen in real life or only in cartoons and movies?"
It's a very relevant
What?
question to talking
Very
about the GLAAD
random
Awards.
question. Yeah.
Um,
Um,
I don't think they happen in real life.
well,
Have you ever been wedgie like
coming from
that?
someone who had two older brothers,
Mm,
I can say
you
that
would
it did
know.
happen sometimes. Yes.
Ooh,
Um,
I had sisters, so
I think
can't
it does
relate.
happen. So,
We would just slap each other. That's all we would do.
yeah, no, I've seen it happen, and it's happened to me before, so I can say that it does happen.
Okay, there you go.
But anyway, so back to
Yeah.
I forget what I was saying. I just like lost my train of thought because that was just really
Uh,
funny. But yeah, so GLAAD. So the GLAAD award show. Um, I think I was saying, oh yeah, I was saying that I think it's really cool that they have an award show specifically dedicated to that. I think that's really cool to shine a light on it. Um, and by looking at the names, it looks like it's uh fairly intersectional, which is nice. Probably could be more. I mean, it always could be more intersectional, but
yeah,
it's definitely a start, and that's really cool. How long has this show been? How long has GLAAD been going on for? Do you know?
that is a very good question.
Because I'm really curious about that.
I feel like about 35 years. Holy, 1985.
What? That's amazing.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's really cool.
Yeah, 1985. It was originally known as the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation.
Cool.
It was found to fight homophobic coverage of AIDS in the news media. In time, it expanded its work, which makes sense.
That makes so much sense that it started in the
Yeah,
80s then. That's really cool.
yeah, very cool.
Wow. It's
The more
crazy how
you
these
know.
things, yeah, and it's so cool how these things evolve over time and how they just
Yeah.
become something completely different and in a good way. That's really neat.
Mm-hmm.
Um well, I is it being it's being televised. You said it's like or not
Yeah,
not televised, but
it's
it's
live
going online.
streamed on their social media.
When
So
it
probably their
I think I
Facebook
missed that.
page.
I think I missed when you said it was. When is it? July.
So I believe
Oh, July 30th. That's today.
I
Catch
exited
the
out of
Media
it.
Awards
So
on Facebook and YouTube, July 30th, 5 p.m.
cool.
PT and 8 p.m. ET. Well, there we
There you
go.
go. Now you got something to do today.
I do. Sweet. Okay, I'm totally going to check
Sweet.
that out
Yeah,
today. It's going
I'm
to be
very
awesome.
excited to hear about that. We'll do a
Yeah.
little review tomorrow. See what you learned.
Love it.
So, all right, let's jump into our last news topic of the day before we jump into our album review. So, for those of you that are currently watching us on Facebook or maybe you're watching on Reddit, we are also live streaming on Twitch where you can comment and chat and follow along. Lots of fun on Twitch, actually. We're live streaming tonight. We do live music Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. We
Yes, we
also
do.
live stream on YouTube, but Twitch is just like way more fun because we've got like more of a little family and a little posse on there. So lots of
Mm-hmm.
fun. Make sure you follow. It's twitch.tv at Vienna Whyte. I've posted links before, but I'll keep posting them. So let's move along to our last topic.
Last topic.
Last topic. I gave
Last
you my heart.
topic.
Okay.
Okay. We're on to the heavy news here. Malik B, founding member of the Roots, has passed away at 47.
Yeah.
And which is has come as quite a shock. Like
Mm-hmm.
I read this morning and I was like, what? Because I saw someone share something that just said on their Facebook, they were just like Malik B. And I was like,
Yeah.
what? Um, and then I looked it up again and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So Malik, for those of you guys who don't know, Malik Abdul Basit, a rapper, singer, founding member of The Roots, has died, according to a statement posted on the group's verified Twitter account. He was 47. This is from CNN.
Thank you.
And the post from The Roots, directly from The Roots on Instagram, says, "It is with heavy hearts and tearful eyes that we regretfully inform you of the passing of our beloved brother and longtime Roots member, Malik Abdul Basit. He May he be remembered for his devotion to Islam, his loving brotherhood, and his innovation as one of the most gifted MCs of all time. We ask that you please respect his family and the extended family in our time of mourning in such great loss." And apparently no cause of death was released. So no one
Okay,
knows
interesting.
why he passed away.
Because that's very young.
It is very young. And again, like I mean, with death, it's like no matter what age it is, it still comes as a shock. But the
Right.
fact that he was so young, it's just like what happened.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not really our place to be like, I demand to know, because
Yeah.
it's,
Ooh, yeah.
it's their family and they're dealing with something that's very tragic. And
Mm-hmm.
I my heart absolutely goes out to them right now, because it's never easy dealing with death, no matter if you know it's coming or if you don't know it's coming.
Yeah.
It's always hard.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of shine a little bit of light on who he was, because I honestly
Mm-hmm.
didn't know very much about him. I just knew that he was in the Roots, and I knew that I really liked him. I thought he was cool.
Yeah. That band's really cool.
Yeah, it's such a good band. So Basit, who performed under the name Malik B, was part of the Philadelphia-based group from its early beginnings to about 1999, when he departed amid group tensions detailed in the song "Water" from the Roots album Phrenology. Written by Tariq Black Thought Trotter, the track speaks to Basit's struggles with addiction. He also went on to produce solo material, and several years after his departure, also appeared on several tracks on the Roots albums. So that's a little bit about him. And man, it's always sad. No matter who it is, it's always sad.
Yeah.
And I know that I know that he had a lot to contribute to music, and the fact that he overcame all of those other things too. It's
Yep.
heartbreaking that his life ended so soon. And I'm I'm definitely going to be reading more about this, because I'd love to find out more
Yeah.
as this goes along, because it just, yeah, it's a shock. It's a huge shock.
Yeah. It seems like maybe we're just more like on our phones and more aware of like all the news, but it just seems like lately there's been a lot of more deaths than normal, it feels like. And maybe this is just how it is and how it's laid out, but it feels that way. It feels like there's more than the average amount that should be happening this much. But so it's really hard to see, but I can't imagine. Yeah, like you said, like the families and stuff. Who are we talking about again? Someone just asked me.
Glixo said who? Malik B. He was part of the Roots
Yeah.
on the basically, if you don't know who the Roots are, they're like the band that plays it.
SNL. Not
Yeah.
SNL.
Jimmy Fallon's
Jimmy
show.
Fallon. Yeah, I don't know why
Yeah.
I said SNL. Yeah. Really, really
Yeah.
talented. Super talented. Like
Yeah.
insanely talented. So
Oh man. So
like,
I mean, I know now I'm all sad. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go listen to some of the Roots today to kind of ease my heart a little bit,
yeah.
because
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I know the Roots. They're really good. Damn, that's rough. Yeah.
I know, yeah, it's super rough, but it's one of those things where it's a celebrity. I guess he counts as a celebrity.
Yeah.
It's a celebrity death, and we talked about this yesterday, didn't we? Where we said, or maybe the other day, but where if someone who is super famous passes away, and you just feel this
Yes.
connection to
Yeah, I
them and their
talked about that.
music, and you feel like someone that close to you passed away, and it feels very close to your heart. So I mean, for anybody who's mourning in that way right now, I really, really feel for you because I get it and it's awful.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I agree. So I guess we'll just move along to our album review, and we'll start chatting about that.
Yes. So for those of you who are just joining us,
Yeah.
welcome to the show. We cover a range of topics. We do a lot of news stuff about the entertainment industry and
Entertainment, yeah.
music. And at the end of our, or not the end of our show, the second half of our show, we review an album. So we listen to an album every single day and we talk about it because we're musicians and we like to
Yeah.
listen to music and talk about music. And it's honestly been a lot of fun. I wanted to say, I was on a phone conversation yesterday, and well, actually a couple. Actually, it was weird. I was on like so many phone calls yesterday, with like friends and people, and I was mentioning how listening to these albums every single day has really improved my mental health, like more than I
Interesting.
expected. Listening to these, like it consuming new music every day has been so helpful in getting me to feel more passionate about music and just kind of sparking that love for it
Yeah,
again. Yeah,
totally.
I don't know.
That's
Anyway,
interesting.
yeah, I don't know
Someone
what
on
it
Reddit
is.
says, love you too.
What?
Someone said they loved us. Love you. Love you too. I got to ask you an
Mamu
honest
dibidibi.
question to general on with the art of music. Sure, shoot for it.
Sure, go for it.
Trying to get more coffee in
Um,
me. Me too.
so yes, we are doing well. I am Amish. This is my new phone. I can't. Okay. Anyway,
All right,
um,
let's move on.
yeah.
So
Let's keep
we
going.
are going to talk about our album review,
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the album.
which is "Feel It" by Mannequin Online.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know what
Also, great
you,
band name.
yeah, I'm very curious to know what you found about this artist because I had a hard time finding a lot about the album just because this band is quite still. Actually, they did
Yeah,
form in 2019, so they are still quite brand new.
they're newer than us, and
Yeah,
they're doing great.
yeah, absolutely. So
They're killing it.
let's hear kind of about
Um,
them.
yeah. So I want you to take a guess as to where you think they're from.
Iowa, Idaho. I don't know.
No,
Damn.
no, no, no. It's a more famous. It's a more
Oh,
famous
Chicago.
city. No, I'll give you one more guess. Really
Okay,
think
can
about
I
it.
get the first letter?
The
Is it?
first letter. If I give you the first letter, you're gonna get the whole
No, I
name.
won't. Trust me, I won't.
Yes, you will because it's part of the name. When I say the first letter, you'd be like, "Oh, this place." I just want you to guess again.
Seattle. I don't know. I'm giving up.
L.A.
Oh, L. I wouldn't have got that. I would have been like
If I said L, you would have been like,
Lacoma.
"Oh, L.A." So
That's
they're
not even
from
a real
LA.
place.
They're from LA.
Okay.
So this is a duo, pop duo. Shout out to the pop
I
duos.
know when I read that, I was like, and I also read that they both had individual projects and then combined forces, and I was like, bish, bish.
So Mannequin Online, we need to collab because we're basically the same.
Mm-hmm.
Um, kidding. But not really. Kind of. Anyway,
Can we hear a little bit
moving right
from the
along. Yes, we're
band?
going to talk about the band.
Yeah.
So, Los Angeles electro pop duo Mannequin Online. Well, that's where they're from. They said they formed Mannequin Online in the summer of 2019 after a fair amount of daydreaming. They were both working on separate projects, as you mentioned before. They were polar opposites sonically and kept
Mm-hmm.
wanting to create something together as a bit of an escape from familiar sounds.
Yeah.
It was also, this is Zach who said this, his first shot at producing, which was a blast. So if you're wondering who these people are that I'm talking about, the members are Zach. Oh, I'm gonna say his name wrong. Zach de Gate.
Galifianakis? Just
No,
kidding.
Zach.
I'm kidding.
No, Zach de Gaetano. Zach de Gaetano and Bridget Boltz with a Z. That's pretty cool. Share their first taste of their new futuristic pop project, Mannequin Online. They push sonic and ideational boundaries,
Wow.
and they are an unapologetic neon lit duo. That's such a cool way of describing them.
Neon lit.
Neon lit.
I like that.
And there's a quote from Gum, Gum, intoxicating alt pop, dot, 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 bringing a sophistication and ear pleasing sensation
Mm.
from the vault that they've been stashed in. Mannequin Online's introduction to the world is an electronic, lavish sin. Ooh, I
Wow,
like that
that's one way to
description.
describe something.
I love it.
Sounds trendy, says Foster. Yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
Oh, it's so cool. And Zach said, our goal with the band was to mix all different kinds of music we like to listen to and somehow make it our own and make it original. We wanted
Mm-hmm.
to take inspiration from artists we collectively enjoyed and to combine the genres fluidly.
Hmm.
This resulted in a concoction of pop, funk, indie, alternative, which created what we have today. They didn't set many rules for themselves and have since adopted a goal to simply focus on what feels and sounds exciting at any given moment,
Yeah,
which is such a cool way of looking at music. And I highly respect that. So
absolutely.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they haven't been a band for very long and they're
No,
already killing
they're
it.
they're already
So
releasing music. Like, holy, we're still chugging away right in our originals, so that's very impressive to see.
yeah, you guys are
Um,
killing it.
for
It's
those who
awesome.
asked on Reddit, you can check out this album. We can unfortunately play it just because of copyright issues, and we've just dealt with that in the past, so we're just not dealing with that. So check them out on
Hmm.
Spotify. Their name is Mannequin Online, and the album is
Hmm.
called Get Away Fruit Fly. It's called Feel It, so it's quite simple to type up. Um, so yeah, and I love that Andrew said this on Twitch. He said, "Are you in the void, Millie? Why is it so dark?" Well, this is actually like a
uh,
cloth, so I know it looks very dark, but we just
the
had a little bit of set
void.
change today because it's really, really hot in our house, so I have to be downstairs to not die of heat. So, anyhow,
Um, yeah.
let's get
So
back to this album.
yeah, I want to hear a little bit more about this album in general. Do you have
Yeah.
anything about this album?
Well, not a whole lot, but I tried my best. So, the album was released July 24th. It is a 6-song EP. And in a direct quote from them from laweekly.com, they said, we review a lot. What am I saying? We had a lot of fun working on this project in general, from each song concept to writing. Oh my gosh, concept to songwriting session. We've tried to. We've really tried to approach it with an open mind and a light heart. We both see Mannequin online music as a fun creative outlet, and it provides a lot of relief and levity for us. It's a place where
Hmm.
we get to be loud and colorful and different, and we're really proud to say that our debut EP reflects that brightness. So
Oh,
honestly,
100%
that's
it does.
all I could find. Um, but from what it sounds like, they're brand new. This is I don't know
Hmm.
if they like produced this themselves. I couldn't find much about like where it was recorded. But
Hmm.
I'd be curious to hear from them to learn more about
Yeah.
it. But that's kind of just a little intro to this album. So let's chat
Yeah.
about the album itself.
And really quick, we just got a couple comments on Reddit here. JJ Boy said, "Do you review any indie music?" And Foster said, "I'm guessing that's all they review." Lol.
Not true.
Yeah. Well, sometimes, yeah. We did review Dixie, or not Dixie, just the Chicks last week, so that
And
was
we
pretty
did
cool.
Neo Soul album yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, so great.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move in. Yeah, I want to talk about this album because this album is so much fun. Um, so first impressions. I first turned this album on yesterday while I was
Mm-hmm.
sitting on my deck in the sunshine. It was really warm yesterday, and I was doing some work, and I was like, you know what? I'll pop this album on.
Yeah.
And oh my God, my mood was like, it just like flipped. The second the first song
Lifted.
started, I was just vibing. It was great. And I was like, oh yeah, oh
That's
yeah,
sweet.
I'm so ready for this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so my first impression was that it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your first impression?
Sorry, there's a blender in the background if you hear that. I cannot control my roommates. They're uncontrollable. So my first impression was actually the first song specifically that I listened to on the album, which is called, let me just check it out. I Want It.
Hmm.
When I first heard that song, it really, really felt like a artist I could hear on Sonic 102.9. So for those of you that don't live in
100%.
Edmonton, they're a local indie station here in Edmonton. So
You're good. You're good. It's not that loud. You just
okay,
keep
it
going. You're
sounds
good.
very loud to me. Um,
Now you're fine.
so that was kind of just my very first impression, like from just off the bat, the first song I listened to. But the album EP kind of shifted from that first song. Like it very quickly changed. Like I kind of thought that was my first impression, that the album would be very similar to each song sounding like the first song, but
Mm-hmm.
it actually didn't. It actually morphed into different concepts on each song, which is something I noted about things that I liked. So that was kind of, I guess I'll morph into now talking about things we liked because this ties in. So that was kind of my first impression, but then I really felt like with each song, it was completely different. Like different in the sense that it felt like different styles of indie pop, if you will. Like it
Mm-hmm.
felt like every song was slightly different, showcasing like different parts of indie pop, if that makes sense. Like there's obviously the
Mm-hmm.
really boppy indie pop stuff you hear. There's a little bit more rough and like rebellious side of it. So I thought it was just really interesting because I was definitely expecting the whole album to sound like one way, and then it really surprised me by kind of flipping the
Mm-hmm.
switch. And like, for example, like I think like the song I Do, and my other favorite song was I Remember. Like that song I like really, really, really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it surprised me because I wasn't expecting songs like that, and I really, really enjoyed those songs. So I was glad to hear there's a
Yeah.
mixture because I don't know if I would have necessarily liked the whole EP if it had all stuck to that same format in the first song, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense.
You know what's funny is that the second that you mentioned the songs that you liked, I was listening to the album. I was like, Millie's gonna love these songs.
Oh,
I was like, these are so you.
I know. When I it was specifically when I listened to I Remember, and me and Chris were
Mm-hmm.
sitting down here just dying in sweat, but he's like, I this is actually a really good song. And I was like, yeah. Like I got like 1975 vibes if you've listened to the 1975.
Yeah.
And I like recently
Yeah.
discovered that band. Not that they're recently new, it's just I recently started listening to them and I really, 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 really like them. So that's kind of what it
Yeah.
made me think of. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, really cool.
I've always got the album playing
Yeah, I do
on my
too now.
headphones, and right now I've got Me. Dun, dun, dun. Um, yeah, so that was great. Um, yeah, a couple things that I really liked. I mean, there's a lot of things that I liked about this album. Because this is kind of the genre of music that I listen to probably the most is like the
Yeah.
indie alt rock type stuff.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like right where I live all the time. And yeah, 100%. Like I would love to have this artist like be on Sonic's
Yeah.
like normal rotation because I would totally listen to them all the time in the
Hmm.
car. Um, I'd say that one of my favorite ones to start off was uh again like the first two songs, I Want It and Can You Feel It, just because I love the energy on them.
Hmm.
Because I thought it was a very strong start to an album. And then as the songs went by, I just got excited about to hear what the next song was. Um, and particularly, I just thought that they were just really, really well written songs.
Hmm.
They were catchy, but they weren't cheesy.
Yeah.
The Even though the chord progressions are relatively simple, they're still very dynamic in the way that they're played through. So,
Yeah.
for example, for a song like Me, sorry, it's just the one I have in my headphones right now.
Yeah.
For the one for this song in particular, like it goes into that kind of minor and then hitting that. I love it when it goes from like that minor one to the five, and it's like, ah, and it goes into that half step, and then it comes back. I love that. Um, and even though it's super, super simple, just the way that they arranged everything is just so clever and so original
Yeah.
that I can see why they're doing so well as a band right now because they're absolutely killing it and
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Well, I honestly feel like this is a very interesting thing that's never really happened on the show before, but I feel like the first album is like Marissa Kaye, and then the second half of the album is like Millie Rouge stuff that I listen to, and it's just like smacked together.
If our personalities could be put into an album,
Honestly,
it would be me and
yeah.
then you.
Because when I listened to
That's
the first
awesome.
two songs, I was like, yeah, this kind of sounds like something Marissa would listen to, or like kind of like up her alley a little bit more. Like,
Yeah,
so it's just interesting, but
that's funny.
it's a really nice dive in between like alternative and indie. So
Yeah.
that's like what they classify this genre as. So yeah, like you said,
Hmm.
I think that, I guess talking more about like lyrics wise, like you said, they were fairly standard. It is like I said pop, but I guess it's more indie alternative. But they did have
Yeah.
nice like flavors and hints of pop in their music that I really, really enjoyed. And the hooks in the song were really catchy, like very
Super
intentional. You
catchy.
could tell that it was like that they wrote it that way, if you will, just because some
Oh
music
yeah.
is hard to hard to latch onto sometimes, just because the artist is like being so creative that they get kind of lost in their own world, if you will. But it seems like this
Yeah.
duo kind of considered like, okay, how do we make this song like really, really fun? Or like, how do we make this song interesting to not just us, but to other people, right? Which is
Yeah.
sometimes what we lose in the brain of musicians.
Oh, 100%. And I think the thing that I like about them is they even mentioned that too, where they said that they wanted to create music that they liked, but was also really fun.
Yeah.
And I totally respect that idea of wanting to kind of flex a different creative muscle.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been there too with like when we started Vienna Whyte, I was as Marissa Kay, I was writing more Sarah Bareilles style stuff.
Yeah.
And then we got into Vienna Whyte, and now we get to write pop music together. And I've always wanted to try it. And so that's really cool that they get to do this now as like the two of them. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I think that's super, super cool. And I love it because you can tell that they really enjoy it. And it's just like, you can almost tell that they're like, I've been wanting to write this for so long. And they finally get to do it. And it
Yeah.
just feels like a release of just excitement and
Yeah.
energy. And yeah,
Build up.
it's so cool. And it's very unique. And I just, man, I appreciate the hell out of this album.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the yeah, I don't know if I have much else to say about like all the stuff that I like because there's, I mean, I can keep going on and on and on and on, but I know there's specific stuff that we talk about, so we can get into some specifics.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
So I guess let's chat about our favorite songs on the album. I guess we kind of went it over, but I think for
Yeah.
me, mine was I Remember, like I said, and I really like the song I Do. Um, I specifically like the bass line in I Remember. I think the bass was just like very
Mm.
prominent and made it super catchy. And then the same thing with I Do. It's just it's like a summer vibe of a song. Like it's just makes me think of summer when I'm listening to this song. So, and it's simple and repetitive, but I love it. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like good pop that I like to listen to. Not that they consider
Yeah.
themselves pop, but it's what I like to listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were your
Um,
favorite ones off the EP?
ooh, uh, I say, uh, I think the one that I've listened to the most, and that's probably my favorite, is Can You Feel It?
Mm.
Just the way that it kind of just keeps driving forward. It's that song that reminds me of like driving down a highway on a road trip.
Yeah.
Um, so that one in particular, but the one that did stick out to me in terms of like sonically and the ones that I liked listening to, Can You Feel It was my number one. But my
Mm-hmm.
other favorite one was the I don't want to get the name wrong. The first one on the album. What the heck was it called again? I Want It. Sorry, I
Yeah,
listened to
yeah.
this album without looking at the titles first. So like I was like,
Yeah.
what is that one song called? So
Yeah.
yeah, I Want It. I love those two. Close close third for me is So Cool. Also because I watched the music video and I was like, oh my God. Have you watched the music
I
video for
haven't,
that?
no.
Oh my God, you have to watch the music video. It's so good.
That's for So Cool, you said?
It's so good. Yeah, it's
Okay.
great.
I'll check it out.
Um, yeah, it's pretty good. I watched it and I was just laughing. It was amazing. The way that they put everything, it was just like I was like, you guys are so cool. And it was great.
Just like the song.
Yeah, basically, which is funny because it's like it's kind of that more sarcastic song.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like, oh, you're so cool. Like it's great. And I love it. And it's just like
Very
what did
facetious.
one thing that I read say? It was yeah, very facetious. And from yeah, I found this one article talking about So Cool, and it said So Cool is an envy anthem dripping in sarcasm. And that's like the perfect
Mm,
way to put it. Um yeah, it's really neat. And I like the way that their high energy stuff is still
yeah.
in that kind of lower to mid range and it's just kind of pushing forward
Mm,
um with all their extra stuff. And then as the album went on, it was very much more kind of like chilled out.
hmm.
So I like that it
But
started
in a
with that
good
high
way.
energy. Yeah,
Yeah.
in a good way.
Yeah.
So
I think the
those three
songs
are
were
definitely my favorites.
placed well in the album, if you will. Like,
Yeah.
if they did consider it, they considered it very well. Maybe it was just unintentional, but I thought it was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest things I find too with albums, like trying to
Mm-hmm.
find the right order for everything. And I think they
Yeah.
did a brilliant job with that
Yeah.
for this one.
Well, I maybe not everyone considers that when they do an album, which I think they should, because it actually does make a huge difference. Like,
Oh yeah.
and I know some people hit shuffle, so sometimes you can't even control
Oh yeah. And
that.
that's oh
But
man, that's one of the things I know I need to get Spotify Premium because when I listen to it on my phone, I'm just like I'm not experiencing the album that it is
yeah,
meant to be
right, because it
experienced
shuffles
as.
it, Right.
Bugs me so much.
I forgot about
So
that. Yeah.
I appreciate the order of the songs here.
Yeah.
Because the
Absolutely.
album feels like it does like this,
It's
and
an
then it goes
arc.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. And
Yeah.
you can hear the story of the album, if that makes sense,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah, it can.
And yeah, it's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and we were talking about our music, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm listening to all these albums this week." And he was like, "Yeah, that's so cool that you listen to albums. Like no one
Yeah.
listens to albums anymore." And I was like,
I guess they don't.
like you're right." And
Yeah.
so I was thinking about it, and I was like, "Man,
So true.
this is one of those albums that you have to listen to the album. Don't just listen to
Yeah.
one song. Listen to the album."
Yeah.
You
Because it
know?
would change your perspective um, of the artist for sure. Like it
100%.
wouldn't be the same. So yeah.
Mhm.
Let's chat about, we talked about favorite songs. So let's chat about lyrics. We already talked about lyrics quite a bit actually already. So let's talk about
Mhm.
vocals and instrumentation of this album real
Mm.
quick.
Yeah. So the instrumentation, it's very like typical rock, like alt rock. You got your guitar, you got your
Mm-hmm.
synth in the background, you got your drums or drum beat, what have you.
Pad,
I
yeah,
think it's more
drum
of a
pad.
drum pad or drum machine. I don't know if it's an actual acoustic drum set. Um, and then you got these incredible vocals on top of everything with like all
Mm-hmm.
these crazy effects on it. And I love the chorus effect. It is one of my favorite effects.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, it's very just like everything is so well balanced in its instrumentation. There's different things that shine on each song. Um, so for example, in the song Can You Feel It?
Mm-hmm.
That one is very um guitar heavy. Like it starts off with that like it hits you right in the face to start. It like slaps you across the face. It's like wake up kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that super in your face heavy front guitar. Yeah, it's really cool. And then for the one that just came on my headphones, so cool. That's the one where it starts off with that low like vocal bass line. I love that vocal bass line. It gave me like Uptown Funk vibes, which is kind of cool.
Yes. That's so cool. I
Yeah, and
love that.
I thought that was super super neat.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really interesting. Uptown
Yeah,
Funk. I never would have thought of that. I
yeah, I
love it.
love it. And Reddit, we're gonna restart here in just a
Yeah.
little bit because we're running out of time. So we'll see
Let's.
you in a second, Reddit.
Okay.
And for anyone who's just joining us, welcome to the show. My name's Marissa Kay.
I'm Millie Rouge.
And we're here talking about Mannequin Online. I was going to say online
Yeah.
Mannequin.
Online.
Mannequin Online. We're reviewing their album. And yeah, if you want to hear a little bit more from us, we post our schedule for all of our streaming stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We post it on our Instagram. If you want to check out our Instagram, it's at Vienna Whyte. So it's spelled with a Y. That's kind of where we post everything. And
Mm-hmm.
you can see all of our stuff that we're doing there. So
Yeah.
uh, let's keep moving
Mm-hmm.
with this review here. So next thing we're going to talk about is what is it, Millie?
Mm. Well, album artwork. Um. Yeah. Yeah. Um. As for artwork, I was not the biggest fan of the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just because it has personal meaning to the band themselves, and maybe it just doesn't have any personal meaning to me. But to me, it was just like a very easy photo to use during quarantine, which could have been another reason why it was just the way it was. Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe it was just like an edit of a photo or a photo that they really liked, and they're like, yeah, let's just
Yeah.
use it like straightforward. But
Also, I have a question for everyone who's releasing music right now. Why is everything sideways? Why is everything
it's so
sideways?
true.
Everything is
So true.
sideways. Is it like a trend that I'm not aware of, like the shaving of your eyebrow thing? I don't know. Is it what am I missing something? I don't understand. Because then I have to look at it like this and I feel very
That's
uncomfortable.
hilarious.
But
Never
because like
noticed
I'm
that.
looking at it again and I thought it was just like a cool background, but now that I'm looking at it, there's like a ring
Yeah.
and I'm trying to figure out what this because it looks like plastic and I'm trying to figure out what they took a picture of
Or
to
like a
get this.
lights.
I don't know because it's like polka dotty. It looks like wrapping paper to me. Like
Mm.
when I look at it. I don't know.
We
I
both are
I want to
like,
Mannequin Online, if you're watching this, tell us the
explain.
reason. Explain why you chose that because I'm very curious. Um, yeah, I don't know. I was a little bit underwhelmed by the artwork considering how good the album was. Um, so that it just surprised me. Like when I saw this artwork and then I heard the music, I was like, wow.
Right.
Maybe that was the intention though. They're like, you underestimate us, then bam, like this
Yeah.
plethora of deliciousness just thrown your way.
Deliciousness.
That's the best word I can use when I'm describing it. Um, yeah. So that's just kind of what I thought of.
Yeah.
One thing that I think we forgot to talk about was some stuff that we perhaps didn't like
Oh,
about the
yeah.
album.
I actually didn't really have anything written down, so I think that's why I forgot. Um,
I was also gonna say there's not much I would change
yeah.
about this album.
I mean,
Uh,
I'm trying to think if there's anything I would even add on to it, or I think it was
honestly,
a
I
good amount of songs. Like, I don't think there
yeah,
was more or less needed. Um,
yeah. The only real critique I have is just change the album artwork.
I was just gonna say the
The
only thing
album
I would
artwork,
maybe
but everything
suggest
else was
is
like,
to do a photo of them, because it just would have been nice
yeah,
to see because they're a fairly brand new band. You know, introduce
yeah.
yourself, show your face to the world. But I mean, that's not necessarily
Well,
needed. It's just
no, it's 100% it's not. But you know what's funny is that I know that there's certain people. I'm not one of those people because I will listen to whatever, but excuse me, I know that some people will base listening to a song off of what the album artwork looks like.
yeah,
So the thing that maybe I would say could be a thing that would stop people from listening to this album is just seeing the artwork first before they actually hear the music. Um, like when I was thinking of this band, I thought of like when I watched the music video, I thought of like there was this one shot of them that was side by side. I was like, ooh, that would be really cool.
yeah, more
Um,
opportunities for
but yes, but
different.
again, maybe there's like some kind of hidden meaning there that we're just completely, it's just like flying over our heads.
Yeah.
So I really want to know the story behind the artwork, if there is a story. Mannequin
There
Online,
could
tell
be.
us the story.
There could be a deeper meaning that we just don't know, and sometimes
Yeah,
bands don't need to explain it, but it's just
true.
nice sometimes to understand.
Yeah. So yeah, it's other than that, it was like such a really cool album. Yeah, music wise, I wouldn't really change much about it. Like
Yeah.
the mixing was really well done.
Yeah.
The
Production.
the performance, yeah, the production, the performance in general is also just really well done. The arrangements were so dynamic and so different with each song. I know
Yeah.
that's like always a note that we have for albums that we review is like this could have used a little bit more dynamics.
Yeah.
And then, we just got a full album of that, which is
Yeah.
great.
Well,
Or
I
EP, I
think the
guess.
vocals were just really well done too. Like some
Hmm.
albums, the vocals when they're indie or alt rock, they're very like messy, but I think it's intentional messy. But
Hmm.
this was very clean cut and like just
Hmm.
well done in general. I don't know how else to describe it, but I really
Hmm.
really enjoyed the vocals. So I think that's something that really stood out for me on this
Hmm.
album. But what kind of colors?
Sorry,
Oh, that.
Miniman on Reddit said do a backflip. I think he saw the last anyway.
Oh yeah. Caveman said that's why people who only listen to music because of their artwork are stupid. And you know, it is kind of true, not the necessarily stupid part, but that I've definitely had that happen on Spotify where sometimes the artwork will completely throw me from listening to the rest of the song, and I've had some songs download that have the strangest artworks, but it's just like
Yeah.
a form of
But in the end,
expression.
it's not what it should be about. It should be about the music. But
Exactly.
it's interesting that that's in our day and age, that's kind of what it's become about is also having the visual along with the audio side of it. So it's interesting to kind of play off those two things and trying to find a good balance of like what's going to draw
Yeah.
people in visually and what's going to draw people in orally.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
anyway, so yeah, you wanted to talk about
Colors. What kind of colors would you
colors.
envision when you were listening to this album?
Ooh. Well, I threw this album on again while I was getting ready this morning. Because it's such a good wake up album. um, and while I was in the shower, I was like kind of shampooing, and then I thought of the primary colors. So I thought of red, blue, and yellow for this album.
That's
Just kind of
cool.
like shining in squares.
Yeah,
That's what
that's
I
an
pictured. I don't know.
interesting way to see it for sure.
Hmm.
I So do you know when you go like this, and I can actually do this because I'm not wearing makeup right now, but you just go like this, and then you see
Oh
like
yeah, you rub your
gray.
eyes.
You see like a gray overshadow, and then you kind of see little specks of light of like
Yeah.
red, green, blue. That's like the feeling that I had, which is
So
such a
just rub your
strange
eyes really hard
way
and
to
you're going to
explain it.
understand.
But like not necessarily colorful, but little specks of color. I don't know. I don't
Hmm.
know how else to describe, but that's just sometimes you just see weird colors, and that's
Hmm.
just it is what it is. So, who
Hmm.
would you recommend this album to?
Ooh. Um, I would recommend it to anybody who really, really is into alt rock. I think
Mm-hmm.
if you like alt rock, if you like bands like Neon Trees
Mm-hmm.
and Shiny Toy Guns, I think you would really like this group. Because
Arctic
that's immediately who
Monkeys.
I thought of when I heard the first two songs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think if you just like variety in your indie rock, I think that indie pop
Yeah,
slash indie rock, I think this is the perfect band to listen to.
totally.
Hmm.
I would recommend this album to, like you said, anyone who likes bands like I said, like the Arctic Monkeys or the 1975,
Yeah.
or just like really any band that's on like your local indie radio station.
Yes.
I said Sonic,
Absolutely.
but really wherever you are, just anyone that um, plays indie music. So
Hmm.
I guess for
And
where and how I would listen to this album, I would listen to it driving in the
ooh.
car or just casually on a day where I was like outside. Like just very
Hmm.
casually, like no expectations of where exactly I would listen to it.
Oh yeah. It's funny. The first thing I thought of when I was listening to this album,
Mm-hmm.
the first time was I was picturing it. I was like, I really want it to be placed in like a teen rom-com movie, which sounds really
Oh,
weird, but like a Netflix original movie is what I could hear this
interesting.
album in.
Okay. Yeah,
I want it
I
so
could see
bad.
that.
Like, and I know that doesn't sound like a compliment, but to me it is because I
No, it
love
is.
those kinds of movies.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And that's how most of
like
those songs get
even
picked
this
up.
morning, yeah, even this morning, like when I had it on and I was kind of like getting ready for the day, I just like felt like I was in a movie, just like listening to this album and getting ready. And I was like putting on my makeup. I was
You
like,
were the main
I'm the
character.
star of the rom-com. Yeah. I don't know, it was really cool. And yeah, so in terms of that, I think that listening to this album when you wake up in the morning is really cool if you want to get motivated.
Yeah.
I think listening to it working out is perfect. Just because of the beats and the melody and just
Mm-hmm.
driving forward, even on the slower songs, like there's still that beat behind it to
Yeah.
make you to really go for it. I'd also put this on at like a party or like if I was having friends over before going out,
Yeah.
obviously not right now, but if I was to have friends over for like pre-drinks before we go out, I would totally put on this album. We just
Mm-hmm.
like jam to it
Yeah.
and be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a
You
question
sounded
on
like
Reddit.
a
What?
you sound like a mom was like, yeah, we just like totally jammed to it. I
Sorry,
love it. No, it's okay.
we're gonna vibe to
We're
it
gonna be
anyway.
lit to it. No, I'm kidding.
Anyway, that's
It's
how
all
I know
good.
I'm getting old is when I try to use the lingo and people are like,
They're
just
like,
stop.
your students are like, just stop,
Yeah, my
just stop.
students are all like cringing right now. Anyway, so Foster says, "What are your favorite indie stations?"
We
Ooh.
really only have one, but
Yeah, well, I
Sonic
don't know if like
Radio.
I wouldn't really consider Sonic an indie station because they play a
Yeah,
lot of mainstream
variety.
music, but in terms of like if I was gonna say indie, I'd say like CKUA. They play a lot
Mm,
of indie music here
that's a
in
good point.
Edmonton. Um and just like the smaller radio stations, but for the most part I don't really listen to a lot of radio stations unless I'm driving in the car. Like I don't go out of my way to listen to radio.
Mm-hmm.
I'll mostly listen to like CDs in my car because I have a CD player in my car and
Oh,
my Bluetooth
Sirius
doesn't connect
XM.
properly. So
Mm-hmm.
Sirius XM is also a really great
That is a good
way
one.
to listen to. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So there you go, Foster. Thank you.
So let's conclude this. So I think this was a really great indie album that was done well during the quarantine time.
Hmm.
And I think this band has a really solid sound, this duo, if you will. And I would definitely listen to this album again. And I would listen to this artist again if they produce more.
Hmm.
And just well done on the album. I gave it a grade level of A minus. It's really good.
Yeah, I think that this is a again really well put together album. I think it's a little bit of everything, and it is a really nice length.
Yeah.
just because of just how the whole thing kind of flows. And it's really great if you want to listen to an album, but you don't want to sit there for like 2 hours to listen to an album, even though it doesn't take
Yes.
2 hours to listen to an
Yes.
album. But
Sometimes
yeah,
it
it's
feels
great
like that.
for, yeah, it's great if you just want to have a good time and you just like want your mood to improve.
Hmm.
Yeah, just this album is great, really well done. And I give it a grade of A.
Nice. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So, for those of you watching at home, if you're on Twitch, Facebook, Reddit, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Vienna Whyte, as we post basically all of our updates on there. We have a link in our bio that links to literally everything we do. So, our Spotify podcast, our YouTube shows, our roundtable shows, these morning brews, our live streams when we go live Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. And as well, we also stream on Reddit, so we also post about that. So there's literally everything on Instagram. So find us on Instagram at Vienna Whyte. My name is Millie
Yes.
Rouge.
And my name is Marissa Kay. And if you like this video, you can give us a little follow on Twitch, give us a little upvote on Reddit, like,
Yeah.
subscribe, hit the bell button on YouTube to be notified when these videos come out. We film them every single day, Monday through Friday, Mondays at 9 a.m. MDT, Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. MDT. And Reddit and Twitch and YouTube, we will see you again later tonight at 8 p.m.
8
MDT.
p.m.
Come request some songs. It's going to be a
Yeah.
blast. And I'm going to be on Reddit again in about half an hour to play some tunes for you guys. So you can
Sweet.
drop some requests a little bit later in about half an hour.
Awesome. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.
Bye.